Hello.
Uncle Artie.
How's it going?
It's good, dude. What's up?
Not much. How are you guys doing?
We're doing pretty good.
Weird.
Awesome.
Busy end of the year.
Yep, I hear that.
You're always busy, man.
I try.
You always
Not as busy as it looks on the outside.
Oh, yeah. So
What?
what's going on, dude?
Not much. Just chilling. I'm back. I've been doing a lot of traveling lately.
Yeah.
Bouncing between here and New York, and then I was in Texas for a couple of weeks. Working on
Where were you in Texas?
I was in Austin for about 3 or 4 days.
You didn't even bother to contact me.
I know. I was
You didn't
there.
even think of me. I know it. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, I was there to shoot someone did a remix of one of my songs, so he wanted to shoot a music video, and I had a client that lived out there, so I made a quick little 3-day turnaround to shoot a music video that's coming out next month. Pretty excited for it.
To which song?
It's for a side project of mine. He did a remix of a song from a band I'm in called Go Servo. And,
Okay.
He trying to figure out how we started collaborating on stuff. I think he reached out at one point because one of the songs into that project like really hit close to him, and he was just like, "Oh, this is like really cool. Like, I'd love to do a remix." And he didn't realize that like I totally love it when people do remixes. So I was like, "Yeah, go for it." And he did, and I loved it. So we released it, and then one thing led to another, and he flew out to come see my first live show for my Chaos stuff. And while he was there, I was like, "Hey, man, if you want to shoot a music video, I have a client out in your neck of the woods that I need to meet up with anyway, so I could do a quick little 1-day trip out there, and we could shoot it." So we did, and it's coming out, I think, towards the end of January.
That's cool. So let's talk about the live show.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
Tell me about the first live show. Tell me about some of the preparation, what you felt right before you went on, and then how long did it take you to calm down?
Oh, so yeah, the live show was kind of great, actually. So what happened is a promoter based in Hartford, Connecticut, reached out to me and was just sort of like, "Hey, are you doing touring? Are you doing shows? Because I have this show that I'm booking. It's sort of this like a miniature festival that is at the same time as sort of their Comic-Con. And so his event was sort of parallel to that. And so he was booking a bunch of very like internet focused acts in there. And so he just kind of was reaching out to a bunch of TikTokers and, people that make music that's kind of internet savvy. And he reached out and I was like, "Yeah, I'm not doing anything." So he booked me for it. We worked out the details. It made sense for me and my team. And so we started prep work for it. So we had about 2.5 months to get ready for it. We had sort of had a vague idea of what a Chaos live show would look like. So my buddy CJ, who's been like a collaborator of mine for years, him and I started working on like what that would look like. So yeah, so it was a lot of like prep work and figuring out like how do you translate, comedy songs that are kind of random at times. Like how do you bring that into the live setting? So we turned my studio here into like a mock stage. We figured out what the playlist and the set list was going to be. And then I just spent 2 months basically exercising and rehearsing for it. It was a lot of fun.
Was it just you?
No. So my buddy CJ, him and I went to film school together, and he was kind of a comm studies major. And I was a film studies major, and he's actually the one that originally got me into Logic Pro. He would always come over to my apartment and be working on some sound score or some sort of rock heavy song or doing his little guitar solos. He's like one of the greatest guitar players I've like.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I followed him because of you, and he's amazing.
Yeah, he's insane. Well, but the other thing is other than sort of being the reason that I downloaded Logic Pro in the first place, him and I have also had a really long career of being polymaths together. So we both kind of do a little bit of everything.
Mhm.
So when I got the offer to do the show, he was like the first person I called. I said, "Okay, dude, I've got this show coming up. I think it's a great opportunity for us to get some more kind of behind the scenes footage. It's a good sort of dry run for us to try to take this show, on the stage. We know that we needed to prep in case we ever needed to do another show. We needed to finally like sit down and like actually make it just in case. And so it was a perfect excuse to do that. So I hired him to basically come along to document the whole thing, like get really good footage of it. But then also during the show, he joined me on stage about halfway through with his guitar to do sort of like his rock versions of it. Cause we wanted to make sure that like some of the songs, they very much are a kind of listen by yourself kind of song. And so because of his experience doing live shows and the liveliness that is the electric guitar, he helped me kind of reinvent some of the songs and adapt them in a way where halfway through the show, he like joined me on stage. We made like a whole bit about it. And it was a great time. So, and he was also had experience doing shows. And so he was able to sort of walk me through some of the things I hadn't quite seen yet. So all around videographer, co-producer, and just basically mentor. So he's a really great guy to bring along for the show.
How did it feel to finally perform the Chaos live? What was that like?
It was very cool, and it was very full circle. There's a couple of moments that like really stood out to me. So one of the things that me and CJ talked about was the idea that like the music that I've made for the Chaos project was kind of born on the internet. Very much me in my room scrolling through and trying to find things that people kind of related to that kind of cared about. And so to then turn those into songs that actually have affected people, and then actually getting to do those and actually talking to real physical people that have been affected by it was pretty special. There's a couple people that had known my stuff but didn't like click that it was me that had been booked or whatever. So like I had a lot of fun getting to know the people at the venue that were like running the front and security. We had a few security people that like checked out my music afterwards that like really loved it. And the next day they were coming in and saying, "Oh my God, we love that." Like I told all my friends about it. So it was really fun for me because my music career, started on the internet, which is a very isolating, just you in a room kind of thing. And so to finally be able to see actual people enjoy it and get to talk to people was kind of like a full circle, like, wow, this actually kind of mattered. This was fun.
Was it your favorite part of 2025 or up there at least?
I would say it was definitely up there. I did learn some things about, what I thought doing live music in front of people, like what I thought it would feel like and in a lot of ways it did surprise me in the things that I sort of enjoyed. And then there were some things where I was like, I really thought that, X, Y, and Z would be the most enjoyable part. And it turns out that it was this stuff over here. So, for example, like I knew, so I got diagnosed with chronic fatigue about 1.5 years ago. And so oh, that's okay. We've been learning how to sort of deal with it. And so one of the things that I knew was going to be a challenge was like doing a live show is, as you guys know, it takes a lot out of you physically.
It is a whole day thing. And that's not even the work up to it.
Right. So that was a challenge where it's like, okay, not only do I have to just get in good enough shape to just sort of be lively and be this person for an hour on stage, but, also doing it with that setback of having chronic fatigue. So what I thought was going to suck was the sort of grueling 1.5 months of just physical training. I got like an elliptical bike. I was doing essentially like 2 days and then resting days and then running through the entire set. That's one of the reasons we did a whole mock-up of my stage here.
That was smart.
It was to actually run through it, actually hear my voice through the PA and I have this whole lighting system set up. So I also get very overwhelmed by things like loud noises and lights. So we set the whole stage up so that it would be like over the top, so that by the time we got to this like very professional, well laid out venue, it would be a breeze. So I thought that would be the least enjoyable part. I had a lot of fun prepping for the show. A lot of things about these songs I didn't realize until I actually had to sit down and figure out what does the live version of this look like. And so I got to know a few of the songs a little bit better than I thought I knew. And so it gave me a lot of new ideas for ways to kind of rework them or even work on other projects I was testing out. Yeah, and then the other part that I thought was going to be really fun was the whole idea of like, traveling there and setting up, and that ended up being my least favorite part. Like,
that sucks. No, me and Brett are like, absolutely not.
Setup sucks.
When I went to Austin to do our live show, which didn't go the way that I envisioned it, all that, but the flight there, going to the hotel room, that whole like bit of it and the workup of the day, I was just like, Jesus Christ, can we just do it? Can we just do it, please? I hate this part.
No, it was a logistical nightmare, and I sort of made the decision, which on paper was great, you know, because also I'm also like kind of running my label and trying to make sure that everything we're doing is making financial sense for both me and the people that work with me. Mm-hmm. So one of the things I negotiated was, you know, this venue didn't have, they had a budget obviously to sign people, but I was always trying to figure out ways to like absolutely maximize the opportunity and not make sure I'm not just like, oh my God, I get to do my live show and like, you know, leaving, you know, kind of opportunity to help sustain the label on the table. So one of the things I negotiated was the convention that, again, was kind of in parallel to this festival. You know, they had like vendors and booths and stuff like that. So I was able to get a free booth for us to kind of set up the record label and promote me and the other artists that I work with, which I ended up regretting immediately because it's one thing. It's one thing to go, you know, to do this show and like have that on your brain and have your, you know, your music equipment and then, you know, trying to, you know, oh my God, could I talk to the sound guy beforehand to make sure that they know, like, you know, ask them if my masters are fine because I brought my laptop and then on top of that, essentially doing a trade show, which I used to do back when I used to do consulting. There's a few clients I had who they had to do regular trade shows. And I remember how that was like a whole thing. You're like, oh, we'll just show up and sell our stuff. It's like, no, zip ties, duct tape, laminated signs, like a million things that you didn't think you would have to think about on top of an actual show. So, you know, that was an interesting choice of mine. I was like, oh yeah, on paper makes sense. We'll just do the show. And the next day we'll just do the convention. And it's like, that was a lot to do in 2 days, but we pulled it off and it was great. It was so it was me. It was CJ. My mother ended up coming because she like has always wanted to see me do live. So she tagged along and she was a lot of help because she's done trade shows like for 30, 40, 50 plus years in her industry. So, you know, she was a lot of fun and a lot of help with that as well. So after the convention and the music part, we kind of stuck around for another day to check out the third night show. And that's when I had the most fun because, you know, at the end of it there was a few other content creators who I was familiar with that I really enjoyed like actually seeing live for the first time. And, you know, as much as I like to think that I really enjoy kind of being out remotely working on my stuff and I'm very much a keep to myself kind of person, I do love artists. I do love people that like actually make stuff. And so to talk to some of them in the green room and sort of share notes on like, you know, what has TikTok been like for you? What has Instagram been like for you? Oh, did you guys see what happened with so-and-so? And actually having people that kind of get it. Cause you know, when you talk to people that don't do any of this stuff or have any desire to do this stuff, you know, you kind of feel like you're talking too much about something that at the end of it, they don't really care about. But, you know, when you're talking to another content creator about how either frustrating an algorithm can be, or, you know, the challenges of like trying to promote yourself during a time where the entire world is burning down.
Yeah. On fire.
you talk to these people and you're like, okay, you get it. So that was a lot of fun.
Let's talk a little bit about the re-release of the Christmas album. So there's some new remixes on there. It's been retitled. Tell us about it.
Yeah. So me and Brooks, we sat down. I can't remember exactly when we started having a conversation, maybe about 7 or 8 months ago. And we were just having kind of our usual sit down of like, you know, what do you got working on next? What are we doing next? And then we started talking about the Christmas album and we were like, dude, we still have like stuff left over. Like there's still a few like remixes we could put out. There's like a song concept. And I was also in the middle of kind of restructuring the regular Chaos stuff. And we kind of just hit the epiphany where the holiday stuff we had made, which was originally supposed to be an extension of Chaos, had kind of become like its own thing. And so we started talking about the idea of maybe just like re-releasing it, of like, okay, let's assume that first time we released it was like a beta test. We got extra songs, we got a few remixes. Like let's put it out again and like let's start talking about like how we could sort of, I don't know, sort of not rebrand's not the right word, but give this kind of its own pair of legs, you know, because I enjoyed that project so much that I think originally it was a great idea to have it be sort of an offshoot, like a holiday version of a Chaos album, but it became something so special to a lot of people, especially after the live show, that I was like, we should re-release this and it be its own thing, and we can actually put out some of the extra stuff that we've been working on since then. So we kicked around some ideas, and at some point I forget exactly how it happened, but we were kicking back ideas, and the idea of dread and green came up. We were like, oh, that's such a good word for this. Like, it's such a good title for the album, because it's like, it's exactly it. It's like dread is the one word that no matter how many times you see people post about going back home for the holidays, you'll see it like 8 million times. And so it just kind of became like the perfect title for this thing. Yeah. And I was also very excited because like I was up in New York I go up there fairly frequently, and we caught one of those times where between his family and his kids and my schedule, we actually had like 1-2 hour period where we could like meet up. And so we went out. We had a couple of drinks, and then we ended up taking a photo, which I ended up using as the base to make the new cover art for it. So
yeah, that's cool too, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so just kind of all came together, and it's one of those things where like half of my job these days as an artist is to just put stuff out, but then the other half of it, as kind of the head of my label, is to constantly be asking like have we set up what we've put out in the best possible way for it to communicate itself and also kind of stand on its own legs. And so between all the other kind of sneaky things him and I are constantly working on, one of the things was the idea of, all right, let's take a second here. Let's take all of the stuff that we worked on that we didn't put out for this thing, and let's hypothetically act like we never came out with it. Like, what would we call it now? What would the track list look like? What would the order be of it? And then like let's do it right this time.
What is your favorite track on it now? And is it different than the one your favorite one would have been last year?
What did I say last time? Do you remember?
I don't remember. Dude, there's been a lot in 2025. I feel like
it's 2027. That's how 2025 is.
Yeah,
I'm trying to figure out how it's not 2022. I'm not past that. I'm still processing all of that. So I don't know. I will say one of my favorite ones, which is definitely a new one, is so as I said, my buddy CJ, I am constantly trying to find weird fusions of things. And one of my favorite things is when when you have like two friends and then they've never met each other, then finally you have the hangout where it's like all three of you, and you're just sort of like, how's this gonna go? How are you guys gonna mesh? Because you guys have completely different like humor, different instrumentation. So I've known CJ for 10 years. I've known Brooks for like 2 or 3 now. So I told him and CJ separately, I was like, hey guys, what if we did like a 3-way song here? Because we talked about the idea of a song of just get out of my fucking kitchen, like just get out, like I'm cooking.
That was funny too. Yeah,
there's too many people in here. And so I started with joking with CJ. I was like, hey CJ, like what if we did like Death Clock or something like that? And he had his guitar, he just started playing something. And as he was playing something, I just started to be like, get out. Because I cook like metal songs all the time. Like I'll do like little impressions of them, like, get out. So he was like, yeah. So what we made, I think at one point I had like a video where you could see us coming up with it live. I was like, okay, dude, go home and go record that and do the whole thing you do, and then send it to me, and then I'll do the vocals for it. He sent it to me. I recorded my vocals. I sent it back to him. I said, all right, dude, add your layered, seasoned, I know how rock works vocals to it. He sent it back to me. I was like, okay, great. So would you mind if I sent this to Brooks? Because I think what would be really good and unhinged here is if the second half of this song went more to Brooks's style, where it's kind of like a little bit unhinged, but like melodic and very soft and very like, what is going on here? Because I like the idea of it sort of transitioning between two different genres, because to me that kind of represented the idea of someone just completely losing their shit and just
in the kitchen, because get out of the kitchen because there's too many people in the fucking kitchen. Yeah.
Right. And then just the idea of like stuffing all three of us into one song, like you would stuff 3 people into the kitchen. Like it just kind of made sense to me. And so, we sent stems back and forth, and what came out was really awesome. And so we threw it on the album, which is great because I've been trying to get those two on a song together for ages now. So we just needed the right thing.
You found it. Let's talk about Bitch Ass Santa.
Oh yeah, that is one of my favorite songs. In fact, I think when I shamefully was looking at my Spotify Wrapped just to see what I'd been listening to this year, I think Bitch Ass Santa ended up being like one of the top songs, which is my own, which is a little embarrassing, but I like that song a lot. So a really funny moment happened during the live show. So like I said, CJ was, when we weren't doing the show, he was following me around with the camera while we were talking to the promoter and just kind of walking around. And I even told him, I said, dude, there's going to be a point. This is like a Comic-Con type thing they're doing. It's July. Someone's going to be dressed like Santa Claus.
Absolutely.
Someone. someone is going to be. I was like, if you see it, I'm not going to look at the camera. I'm not going to do the thing where I'm like, hey, look, bro. Like you and I both know what's going on. So if you see him, like, just start doing your thing and I'll do it. So sure enough, we're walking out of a restaurant and he sees him and there's a guy dressed as Santa outside. And then I walked outside through the doors and I was just like, Santa, what's going on? He's like, Merry Christmas. I was like, yeah, you too. And they just walked away. And I told CJ, I was like, dude, that's going to be such a good jump cut when we post like TikToks about like us doing the live show. Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. And I will say that at the live show, that was the song that's, to my surprise, did the absolute best. So what happened was I did that kind of towards the end of the set. And when I went to the green room and then came back out like 20 or 30 minutes later, I had security guards walking up to me. They were at the front door who apparently had like left the door to like poke their head in because they could hear it through the PA. They're like, what is this song? What the hell? It's the middle of July. So the next day when I showed up to the show, they were still coming up like, dude, that's the funniest song I've ever heard. I've listened to it like 12 times since you did it yesterday. So I don't know. I like that song a lot. It's probably my favorite one.
Can I tell you something? That song, I work at a restaurant and they had their Christmas stuff fucking up in November. They had their Thanksgiving stuff up 2 months before Halloween. And I would walk through and in my head, I would be playing in my little ADHD squirrel brain, bitch ass Santa for like 4 fucking months. I'm like, here we go. And then I played it for my daughter and she was like, yep, that's my goddamn life right there. Cause she works in the store.
Oh my God, dude. We're making that song was such a, I don't know. So that was when me and Brooks were just throwing back everything at the wall at each other. We were texting each other. Like we had a song in there about a millennial gingerbread man. We had a song about a cat, like, getting tangled up in Christmas lights.
That would have been a great one.
I'm telling you, we had so many ideas that like
You've got another Christmas album.
Yeah, I very seriously doubt that there won't be like a Dread and Green Volume 2 at some point because there's just so many songs that we came up with. Oh yeah, so Bitch Ass Santa, like I wish that like the making of that had been like this sort of like really complicated, like several hour back and forth, like philosophers like scratching their beard, but like it was simple. Like the opening riff you hear was like the first thing I played on my synthesizer and I just went back and forth and then the melody was just there. And so I sent that chorus to Brooks with nothing else, just that and then the must be violent, and then I sent it to him. He was just like, oh dude, I'll be right back. And then 15 minutes later, he sent back like a bunch of guitar stuff and some ideas for what his lyrics would be. And then like, I think within like the next 40 minutes, like we kind of knew what the song was and we're already 90% there of like finishing it.
I must be wildin', I must be in a dream. It's still October, and yet there's red and green in every aisle, in every window scene. This bitch ass Santa just stole my Halloween.
I'll be rolling out tinsel and snow. Bring me jack-o'-lantern, spiders and ghosts. Find me waiting at the chimney with bones, broken skeletons and a pot of gold.
I must be wildin', I must be in a dream. It's still October, and yet there's red and green in every aisle, in every window scene. This bitch ass Santa, what the fuck is just stole my Halloween?
Standing in line and I'm trying to buy candy. Can't stand the things that the season's demanding. There should be no reason I'm seeing St. Nicholas next to a pumpkin. That shit's so ridiculous. Grinding my teeth as I try to remember when Christmas was Christmas and not in September. Why are the traffic lights covered in holly? Why does my coffee say I'm feeling jolly? My neighbors are watching the Home Alone sequel. House is lit up like a Catholic cathedral. Dressed at their party is Evil Knievel. Drinking their eggnog and praying it's lethal. I wanted a season with skeletons twerking, goblins and demons in parking lots jerking. Give me the spooky and save all the merry before I give Santa a taste of the scary.
I must be wildin', I must be in a dream. It's still October, and yet there's red and green in every aisle, in every window scene. This bitch ass Santa just stole my Halloween.
That's right, Saint Dick. You've been overstepping your boundaries for a long time. You better stay in December where you belong. Cause if I
Which is
Go
my
on.
favorite. My favorite thing about working with him is that like I don't know whether it's because like we listened to the same stuff in the early 2000s or if we just kind of like vibe or if I have some like extra questions for my father. But like whatever the solution is, like him and I vibe together like really, really well. So once I give him sort of the molecule of an idea, he usually just completely gets where I'm going with it. He doesn't try to like warp and take it into a completely different direction or try to like insert himself for the sake of like being in control and having like a brilliant idea. He just can hear where I'm trying to go. And he's just kind of like a really good sustain pedal to get there, which I really appreciated on the Christmas album, because at the time it was very important to me that like some of those songs were supposed to be on Chaos. So if we were going to do this full album, it needed to be something that was very much in that universe. And so he was willing to like learn what the rules were creatively, which I really appreciated. And it's something where when he started coming out, so his latest project is he has kind of this politically conscious EP that he's been slowly working on and building up to a larger LP. There's songs that are very specifically about things going on today. He's got a song about submarines. It's about billionaires and sort of their place in society. And so whenever he's asked me to be on one of his songs, I've tried to give him the exact same courtesy of like trying to understand, like, what are you trying to accomplish with this song? What are the rules of this kind of politically conscious universe? Like,
Yeah.
and that's been a lot of fun to finally be in that position of trying to help him take this where it wants to go, even if it's sort of outside what I might have done if it was just kind of me making it.
It's always good to get us outside of your comfort zone and
Yeah.
make those strong connections you have stronger. Is there anything on that album with him that you would like to talk about?
Oh,
for
yeah,
him? Yeah. Can we do that?
Yeah.
For him?
No, absolutely. So Brooks is, for your listeners who don't know, there's a method of releasing music. So back in the day, it was very simple, right? You'd release a couple of singles, and then you release an album, and then maybe a single afterwards, right? Brooks is currently in the sequence of doing what is known as the waterfall method, which has gotten very popular for people in the streaming age. And what happens is you start with knowing, okay, I'm going to release an album later this year. Maybe you've got 4 or 5 of the songs already done, or maybe you've at least got one done and you've got like a few that like the ideas there, but you're still working on them. And so you release the first one as a single. Then like a couple weeks or a month later, you release another single, but this new single is a 2-pack containing the first song and the new song. And then a week or so or a month or so later, you do the third installment, which has the new song as the first one and then the 2 previous ones below it. And so it sort of stacks over time. There's a bunch of benefits to this in terms of streaming and marketing. And there's been several albums that have been hugely successful because the artist, released them as singles that stacked on each other over the last year or so. So when they finally released the LP, it like inherited, like, you know, it started off with basically millions of streams and was already in playlists and had popped up in different places. So it's a really great method. So he's in the middle of doing that. So right now the name of the EP is Submarines, but that's because that's the latest song on it. When he releases the next version, it'll be named whatever that song is. And I'm not even sure if he knows what the final title of the album is going to be. But yeah, so right now it's got 4 different songs. He's got a song in there called Block Party. And the idea of Block Party is that, you know, no one is uncancelable. He came up with this idea of a song that addressed the idea that like a lot of people who are famous that have these huge platforms, but kind of choose to be silent because they want that kind of archaic thing of, you know, I just want to make my music and then go home and like, that's it. And I want all of the attention and the adoration and the success. But, you know, when it comes to actually speaking up for things that really matter, they just sort of don't. And so that song is just kind of poking fun at them in a much more, I'd say, aggressive way than maybe a Chaos song would have, which is really, I think that's why people gravitate towards it so much, is because this kind of collection of his songs are like the gloves are kind of off. He's got another song in there called 3 Shells, which that one was a very challenging one for us to write because it came right after the Luigi Mangione situation. And so the song wanted to kind of capture the sort of complicated feelings that everyone was sort of having after this billionaire, who many would argue was directly responsible for the healthcare denial of, you know, millions of Americans. was murdered. And so it created a lot of very complex, very, very nuanced debates online. And so he made a song that basically tried to capture that and try to capture maybe the side of it that you would at first be like, oh, wait, you're okay with this? It's like, well, the song just sort of captures the moment of it. So that was a fun one to write. And then he's got another one called Genocide, which I messaged him one day because I knew he wanted to do a song about the genocide in Gaza. And I sort of brought up to him the idea of like, what if you made a song that kind of pokes fun at the idea that if you say even the word genocide, you'll be blocked. So call it Jenna's, like a girl named Jenna and her side. And the idea of the song is that you're saying, oh, you're always taking Jenna's side. But the whole song is about the idea that like the genocide is happening and people need to be speaking out about it. So he's this album for him, he's really enjoying using his platform, which is slowly growing, to make music that is not ignoring the political climate, but is actually embracing it and still finding a way to make it beautiful in its own way. And he's been very kind to let me join him on a few of the songs, and it's been a lot of fun.
That sounds fun.
I'm very excited for him. And so the half of me that's working on my record label, he's one of our best sort of clients, and he's someone who like we constantly ask him like, what can we do to sort of help you? Is there any sort of administrative stuff that we can help you do? Part of that is because he's easy to work with, but the other half is that like me and my team, we love everything that he does. Like everything he does comes from a place of genuine concern, of genuine want to help. Like, and we're not going to sit here and act like every person who speaks out is necessarily an angel. He is someone who deeply cares about the stuff going on in the world right now. And he's someone who's directly affected by it. The people around him are directly affected by it. And he is someone who could absolutely make an immense amount of money just making, completely oblivious, ethereal, beautiful music. But he chooses to use that talent to talk about things that are currently happening. It's very inspiring. And it's something where, I don't know, we're always asking him like, how can we sort of help you? Because I think one of the biggest problems with every industry, but not just music, is that the wrong people are famous. And he's one of the right people that should, like, I don't know why he doesn't have more monthly listeners than I do. Like, that's one of the things I wake up every day and beat my head against the table.
His voice, it's like an angel.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's like butter.
It's so smooth and the way he writes his lyrics. I mean, I love his stuff. I listen to his stuff all the time. That is one of the things about the record industry that just blows my mind sometimes, where, incredibly talented, beautiful, wonderful people are just kind of like, they just get missed, and I don't understand it.
Right.
I was going to say it's a lot better now than it was in the past. Because a lot of people would do a bunch of work and their stuff would get shelved by the record label. He's actually able to take his dreams and release them, which is just awesome, just all on its own. Right. But yeah, he's doing it how you're supposed to do it. You're just supposed to grind it out.
Yeah.
Just rub one out. Just keep on.
Stop. I knew he was going to do it. I knew he was going to fit it. He made it
stick it in there.
35 minutes without a single 14-year-old boy joke.
I have not said anything.
35 minutes. No, you haven't.
That's got to be a record, right?
No, somebody write it down. I mean, it's my favorite thing about you. Please don't get me wrong, but there's just sometimes I'm just like, damn it, you couldn't keep that inside.
I can't. You have no idea how hard it is to keep 95% of the stuff I think from being released into the world.
So we have like 5 minutes. Real quick. Are we doing New Year's resolutions, guys, or did we learn from last year?
Oh, God. New Year's resolutions.
What would it be before I say goodbye?
Oh, if I had a New Year's resolution, it would be to, I don't know. Honestly, we're all the way down to drink more water. I mean, that's about all that I can control. That's all that I could do.
But yet, that is a good choice.
I like that.
I guess so.
You're choosing to be healthier.
Yeah.
I just want to wake up and not feel the need to smack people.
Oh, I don't know if that ever goes
Looking for
away.
that kind of peace.
Now, what you got to start doing is investing in people being unsmacked.
Yeah, just put a spin on it. Just put a spin on it right now.
So that's the name of the game these days. Is finding. It's a war of pennies out there. You got to find a way to make just enough to.
That is a great song title.
Yeah.
Write it down.
We literally
War
talk
of
about that all
pennies.
the time at the labels. Like, most labels are trying to like own everybody's masters and whatever. And I'm like, I tell my team, I'm like, it's a war of pennies, guys. Like, we don't need to make $1 million on everything. We just need to find a way to help artists do the tiny little things that they weren't doing anyway in a way that's sustainable for them and us. Like, we don't have, unlike billionaires, we don't have to make $1 billion.
No. We just need to pay rent, man. It doesn't have to be so complicated.
Oh, yeah.
I would like to also schedule a time to do an interview with you just talking about your label, since we've had a few other people on here just talking about like their little independent labels. If we'd like to make time for that, I'll shoot you an email around February for that, if that's cool.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I would love to do that with you. Real quick, Happy New Year's, guys. Happy
Happy
Christmas.
New Year.
Merry Chrysler. All that shit.
Mary Chrysler.
That I say that at work all the time. I'm like, Merry Chrysler. They're like,
Yeah.
what? I'm like, yeah.
May you keep your calories in a deficit.
You know what I do?
I've given
is-
up on that.
I just try to figure out which one I'm not supposed to say and say that one.
And we love that about you.
Merry Christmas, Merry Xmas, whatever you want it. Whatever you don't want it to be, that's what needs to come out.
Yeah, this year I think you should try Get Out of My Face. See if they like that one.
Get out of my.
What if we started just like blowing raspberries at people like little kids? Just that would be fantastic.
If by raspberries you mean lead-filled boxing gloves, I'm down.
Nobody in this interview is tense or stressed out at all.
No.
Or nobody's tired.
I haven't
Nobody's
unclenched
tired.
my jaw since 23.
Right. Yeah, mine was 2020. So yeah, we're still there. Hey guys, thank you so much for being on the show, Artemis.
Yeah, no
Brent,
problem.
holler
Always a
at me
pleasure.
tomorrow. I gotta go to bed.
Artie, it was good seeing you, man.
Yeah.
Love you, brother.
Yeah, excited to
so
see you
great
guys
having
again.
you on the show.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, guys. We appreciate your time. If you're getting anything out of this, if it gives you the feels, the good feels, if you could like, follow, subscribe, share, send in snail mail. Let everyone know that you like this and talk about why you like it. Let us know when we post, hey, this was my favorite episode by y'all guys.
Get out there and remember to
Make
some.
some